So Israel Adesanya has been fighting a lawsuit for the past year from his ex-girlfriend. C is claiming that C deserves half of his career assets because C believes that C is the reason why he is champion.
Girlfriend, when they broke up, she sued the nigga for half of his stuff, claiming, and I quote, he wouldn't be where he was without me. We're basically married. So they do the investigation into his finances and they find out everything, and I mean everything is in his mama name. But you know who got $1 million? Charlotte. Do you know who got to come off $500,000? Charlotte.
What ended up happening is he put his $15 million fortune in his mother's name. So essentially what he did, it's kind of shady, I'm not gonna lie, but it helped out in his favor this time. Well, if this isn't a case of how being greedy can go very wrong.
A year ago, she took him to court for half of his assets because she believed that since she had been his girlfriend for 12 months, she was entitled to half of his fortune. Based on her understanding, she is the reason he reached this level of success, so half of it belongs to her.
Well, if this isn't a case of how being greedy can go very wrong, I don't know what is. This is Charlotte Padrell, and she thought she was gonna get a pay date from her boyfriend of only a year. Now, what Charlotte decided to do is that once they broke up after a little over a year, she decided that she was going to sue him in court for half of his assets, and he has a $15 million fortune, right? Charlotte felt like she deserved half. The basis of her lawsuit is essentially what Mariah Carey did. She felt like that they had spent a year together. She expected to get married to him, and then he dropped her like a hot potato. So she was upset and was like, well, I'm gonna sue him because I deserve half of his UFC fortune because I helped him along the way with his career in that year. Mind you, they had never been married, they didn't have kids, they had nothing. Well, she herself has $1 million fortune because she's a real estate mogul. What ended up happening is he put his $15 million fortune in his mother's name. His mother manages his fortune because he had an ex-wife that he did not want to have to split assets with. So essentially what he did, it's kind of shady, I'm not gonna lie, but it helped out in his favor this time. His mother has all full control of his assets and his fortune. His mother has been managing his assets since he started his UFC career, so...
This case is really interesting. Forget about the fact that she will have to pay him. It's not about money. What makes this case special is her level of entitlement. Things are changing rapidly, and it got to the point where people start to believe they are entitled to other people's property just because they spend some time with them.
When they went through the lawsuit and she actually won, it looked like he had made zero earnings for his career, and she was worth $1 million. So Charlotte was ordered to pay $500,000 to him because she looked like the breadwinner. So this was this was a Uno reverse like no other Uno reverses. I think I've heard this story before with a soccer player that this happened with his wife. However, she was not a wife, she was a girlfriend of only 1 year, thinking that she was owed half of his fortune. She didn't put years in with this man. She put 1 year in. And look what God did. It's karma. I'm just saying, it's karma. What do you think below? Comment your thoughts. I want to hear what you have to say about this. This had me cackling. This had me cackling for many reasons that I'm not going to get into, but it had me cackling.
How is protecting his assets shady? Since when being an ex-girlfriend entitled to a man's assets? How is dating 1 year worth half of everything? How did she win in the first place? I mean, it would have worked out in his favor anyway. They weren't married. Since when do girlfriends get anything? So now a girlfriend is entitled to half of the boyfriend's assets if they break up.
So essentially what he did, it's kind of shady, I'm not gonna lie, but it helped out in his favor this time.
Did you notice how she referred to the strategy he used to secure his assets? I don't know why she classified it as being shady when he just prepared himself, as he is well aware that some people are on it for the money. So he didn't want to become part of the statistic. He worked hard for his things, and he didn't want to give it away just like that. This story shows that people's entitlement is getting out of control. How entitled can a person be to believe that they should be given half of their boyfriend's assets just because they dated for a year? It would be a different story if they were married. In that scenario, she could have a point, but claiming that you deserve half of someone's belongings just because you spent 12 months with him is insane. I don't even know how they entertain this case because, in my opinion, they should have told her that her claim makes no sense, as being someone's girlfriend doesn't give her the right to his assets. I can imagine what went through her mind when she was told that she was the one paying him. That was the moment she regretted going after his money. But on the flip side, he was pleased with this outcome. Having his assets under his mother's name served him really well.
So, when was your last relationship?
It's been like 2 years, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Are you interested in one?
Yeah,
Me too.
I think I'm ready.
You look like the relationship type.
What about you?
Well, it's been about a year and change. Me and my ex had a falling out. It was rough, but,
I'm sorry to hear that. What happened, if I could ask?
Well, he had a loving family. He was great with my dad, great with my mom. He had a career. He's great with kids. At the time, I wanted him to be my husband.
He sounds perfect.
Oh, he wasn't.
So what happened?
He proposed to me and we were gonna get married.
Right?
He tried to get me to sign a prenup. Like a bitch need her bag. You know what I'm
Have
saying?
a great rest of your night.
You're all the same. These boys are... Oh, he's coming back. No, these boys...
If she don't want to sign a prenup, we not getting married. What is a prenup, and why do people need it if they're happily married? In prenup, we trust. Asking for a prenup is a red flag because why don't you trust me, Pookie? I'm never signing a prenup. Prenup because you keep your assets separate. I do not want to give my future husband my debt. That's my own problem, and for me to fix. I know most of us will agree that he is a smart man, because if she ended her previous relationship for that reason, it indicates that she has a fixed target. It's not about love or her willingness to find someone to connect with, so removing himself was a great move. Only those who are after someone else's money would oppose a prenup. Whoever requires their new partner to sign a prenup wants to protect the assets they acquire prior to their current relationship. And if your current partner doesn't understand why you need this document signed, it means that they have their eyes on those assets, and it's something to be considered. It was interesting that a lot of women couldn't understand his position. They stated that if a guy asks them to sign it, it would turn them off as it's an indication that he doesn't love or trust them. But in my opinion, those with this mindset aren't in tune with reality as it's not related. How many people found themselves in a position where they ended up splitting everything, including what they had before that marriage? They found themselves in that position because they thought that marriage was forever and didn't feel the need to have a prenup. That's what they need to take into consideration before making those assumptions. It has nothing to do with a lack of trust or love. It's all about making sure assets are divided fairly in case of divorce.
I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying this out loud, but women, if you are in a relationship or dating, remember there is no 50-50. You shouldn't be paying any bills, not because you can't, but because your man should be treating you like a queen. And I felt like saying that because I'm right in front of the Buckingham Palace in London, and I realized that every man should treat his woman like a queen, because otherwise there are a million others who are totally ready to do that. So don't settle for anything less than you deserve, ladies.
You be treated like a queen when you respect your man like a king. I never knew a broke queen. Recording it by yourself. I am guessing you are single. The funny part is that she is saying this while recording a video all by herself. Anyone making this type of statement should at least show their results. She should be next to the man she believes every woman deserves. It doesn't make sense to talk this big while single. It's like someone trying to guide others on the best practices to be healthy, while being unhealthy themselves. Besides this point, why is her message so concentrated on the men's money, when currently everyone is working? Maybe she is one of those who believe her money is for herself and his money is for everyone. What most don't understand is that the only reason they are not getting the treatment they desire is because they are not giving their man the equivalent energy. This is the piece they are missing, and that's why they get surprised when their ex starts giving his next woman queen's treatment. She has the privilege of having that experience because of reciprocation. In other words, he just reciprocated the energy she gave. She treated him like a king, and he returned the favor by treating her like a queen.
If she has to pay all her bills by herself, keep up with her own beauty and car maintenance, work long hours every week, never go on dates, never get shown off or appreciated, always say I instead of we, why would you ever think you're her man for real? She's not selling herself, but her love isn't free. Men often watch a good woman do it all by herself just because she can.
I don't know whether she knows what she just described, but it seems to be a description of being an adult.
If you're not willing to take risks, step up, and be willing to build something with her, then you're not ready for her. A relationship is supposed to benefit both people, emotionally, physically, and financially. But if she has to depend on herself and do everything herself, she's going to be by herself.
Why do women act like they're special for doing adult things? Sounds like a man's life. Sounds like being an adult. No free rides in this lifetime. Notice how she said a relationship is supposed to benefit both people, yet she says absolutely zero on how the man would benefit from her. It's what men do every day, sweetie. You can be on your own then. Welcome to life, now stop complaining. This is interesting. I don't know why a lot of people want credit for doing regular adult stuff. She just described what a functional adult should do, but for some reason, she wanted to paint it as if it were something extraordinary. Who exactly should pay for another adult's car note and other bills? It's really hard to believe that she thinks they should pay for nothing. I feel sorry for those who have this mindset, because soon they will realize they were living in a fantasy world, a place where other people keep paying for their lifestyle, even when they should do it themselves. At this point, all I have to say is, welcome to adulthood.